a blind guy teaching a blind guy how to throw something, and nobody else can win the game, and these guys are winning.
I'm convinced it's rigged.
You can't even rig that. You can't even rig that. So let's just finish with our introductions before we get to the fun part about doing our little influence mastery. Another gentleman that I met on Wall Street and became good friends with, Neftali Mercedes. Nef, Puerto Rican Prince. He is one of those guys that can, understand clearly when businesses change. A bend in the road isn't the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. And he has always been a super guy as far as, as a person and also in the world of influence. So Neftali, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little fun fact?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm very impressed by the stories that I'm hearing and how well-spoken everyone that's coming through is. I feel like we're a crew of either sales reps with extensive experience or we're all from that world of getting so much pleasure out of dealing with people. I haven't heard one person here not know that they connect with people at an above average level. And obviously Joe is one of those people, unlike anyone that I've ever met, ever. I met Joe on Wall Street, a couple months ago. I don't want to keep dating myself every time I talk about how far Joe and I go. And I know, you have friends back from college, so I wouldn't even mention that. But yeah, I mean, we go way back, and Joe is also one of those people who had an amazing, illustrious career on Wall Street. There's not one person that he ever came across that wasn't immediately struck by how talented he was. But it doesn't come from any sort of gimmicky background. It comes from just a genuine interest in people. And I think that's been part of his, one of the pillars of his success as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I mean, I come from that world myself. I'm also a very highly rated sales rep, and I don't even, much like the lady who spoke right before us, who's a life coach, I don't know too much about why I'm here, but that just adds to, or not why I'm here. I know exactly why I'm here. But as far as the aspects of what this is and what it's supposed to be, because all I do is follow Joe blindly. And, no pun intended there, Sean. But, he says, I'm doing something and it's interesting. And I know from experience that whatever Joe is into, you want to know immediately. And you have to have at least the deference to invest the time and find out, because he's never been involved in anything that is not 100% interesting, profitable, and just leads to an overall personal and career benefit. So that's why I am here. I'm hoping that, I can already see the talent, and I know that's going to lead to some really, really large gains in the near future. Because if this becomes the circle of friends and the circle of people that you have access to, obviously we're all going to do a little bit better. My fun fact is I tried never to leave anyone that comes across me, whether it be in personal relationships or casual meetings or especially business meetings, worse off than how they found me. So, and I have an upfront dedication to that creed. Wow. To leave, whether it's the slightest cold caller who comes in for a training or a client who's a multi-billionaire already, they don't end up worse having crossed me than they would not having crossed me. And that's one of the things that I like to focus on and how I like to lead my life. And I believe in karma. And so far, even though, I certainly don't come from a cookie cutter life, overall, I've done very well. Awesome. Both personal and in business.
Prince, pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being here and the courage and vulnerability of stepping into the unknown a little bit. Dawn, very impressive background as well. I love your intentionality around life and everybody. And if I could, in a quick nutshell, influence is a superpower, integrous, heart-centered influence. And what this is about is it's unlocking. You're on about the 225th. We had been miscalculating for a little bit there, Teresa and Joe, because we went back and counted. This is about the 225th Real Raw since COVID started. And in the month of October, we'll have 100 Real Raws in and of itself and growing. So I'm so thankful to Joe and Teresa, for co-creating this. We had our launch event for Unblinded was in January. We had 1,500 people in the Meadowlands, and it's been rocking since, and COVID has not stopped things. It's accelerated. And at Long Beach Island weekend, we're talking about the folks in the elite program like Joe and TTP, Teresa, amazing. So yeah, Prince, it is a pleasure.
Thanks. And Neff, thank you for that, those kind words. But in a nutshell, also to add on with Sean.
I know his name is Neff, but he's going by the Puerto Rican Prince. So I'm going to
Puerto Rican Prince, Neff, Mercedes. Just don't call him late for dinner. He's good. He'll be there, right? So if anybody on this call is interested in more money and less time with more magic, that's the bottom line. If that interests you, stay on, pay attention to some micro distinctions, have some fun. There's a lot to learn from Sean while you're having fun. Because what we did on Wall Street, guys, and I'm speaking to specifically at least two, if not Greg also, is literally telemarketing, telephone, build teams, all of a sudden thousands of clients, right? That's like a buggy whip compared to something that was born kind of out of necessity in the middle of confusion of the pandemic. And when you realize the businesses that are accelerating and the relationships and the connecting, how it's accelerating, what the telephone was in the 80s, this real raw and this practice mastery, is like an autonomous vehicle to the buggy whip that we grew up with, if you will. So I'm sorry, Teresa, I know you still have a guest.
I do, yes. And we have our judges also. So
yes.
Next, but certainly not least, is Trevor Goodchild, my man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Nice background,
Trevor.
I have to say.
Thank you.
Trevor, I have to tell you, I'm so impressed by Trevor. I happened to meet him last week on a marketing event. Trevor went from, may I tell them just a little bit about you, Trevor?
Be my guest, even
Okay.
if I'm yours.
So Trevor is a Facebook policy expert, right? Agencies hired him to provide answers to why Facebook sometimes goes silent or why your ads don't get the traction you're looking for. He is like the go-to expert in that space, but which is amazing. But what impresses me the most about Trevor is his tenacity. He went from being a homeless teenager to being accepted into the University of Texas and gained recommendations from the president of the Austin Community College. And that just talk about trajectory, right? Has launched him to where he is today. So I wanted to share him with the rest of the world.
Thank you. The world has definitely grown smaller these days, but I appreciate being here. This is all kind of random for me. I didn't know what the format was until, of course, being the responsible adult I am, 15 minutes before this began, I looked at the training video or how to prepare and all that. And I was like, oh, okay. This is not a typical podcast where we're just going to have like guest speaking. This is more like a workshop.
It's real.
And so that I was like, well, if I don't perform well enough, is Sean going to dump a bucket of green slime on my head if I don't have the right sales pitch?
You're showing your age. You're showing your age.
Is this like, yeah, I am showing my age.
Nickelodeon. Trevor, it's nothing like that. We just go in the ocean at night in 10-foot waves like sharks.
There you go.
All good.
Go surfing blindfolded. So to give like a very brief synopsis of what I do, and then to kind of give a little background texture on what TTP talked about. I'm so far the only Facebook policy expert in a private consulting firm that I know of. Facebook does not have a public facing office that consults with ad agencies that advertise on Facebook specific to Facebook policy issues with their ad accounts, their advertising with their funnels and things like that. I worked at Facebook for 3 years. I worked in advertising, and then I also was promoted into backend server tech, where I supported Facebook servers, remote access tools globally for teams across the world, because Facebook is everywhere. And in that interesting experience that I have, I learned so much on the advertising side, but then peel back the curtain. How does Facebook work as a website? What are the proprietary software and tools that their agents use on varying levels? And how do I know if this is a glitch versus an actual policy issue? I have answers that very few people do on how Facebook works. And I now am the only person that I know of that is a Facebook policy expert for a living. I also do done for you social media marketing and stuff like that, but That's my unique selling proposition. And so some of my clients have actually included social media marketing agencies that have run ads for Tony Robbins and Harv Eker, and I never get his name right, Dean Grossi, OC. I can't pronounce. I keep forgetting. Huh?
Dean Grossi. Yeah.
Get Graciosa, yeah, their KBB launch in February. Some of those ads were run by my office first to determine compliance before Tony and Dean launched. I've never met any of them, and I don't pretend familiarity, but I worked with their teams that run their ads, and they ran them by me to make sure they were compliant. So that was pretty cool. As far as my background goes, I grew up living in a cardboard box in an alleyway as a homeless teenager for many years. That was during my coming of age part of my life, but I was concerned about the process of becoming fully human. And so even while in cardboard boxes, I was reading philosophy books on false beliefs, hard intelligence, cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, understanding how our self-image creates our identity, because I was determined not to let homelessness self-define me. And I talked to the director of the shelter I stayed in off and on. And apparently I was the only one that survived out of like 200 kids in that era who are now either dead, in jail, back on the streets, using drugs, selling drugs. And it really perplexed me. I didn't know the ratio was that much. So I started talking to a friend of mine that does research on this. And the defining characteristic I think that set me apart is I never self-identified as homeless. I identified the extenuating circumstances I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
My father had actually tried to take my life, and that was why I ran away and was on the streets. It wasn't because I was mad that I didn't get a BMW and was sulking, begging for money on the drag. Not to typecast people that are homeless. There are plenty that have other circumstances, including mental health, but I really had to fend for myself as a young person. And for a long time, I had feelings of resentment towards life, towards the world. Think Eminem, the rapper. It's I also rap. That's my unique talent or interesting fact about me. I'm a hip hop artist. But the thing is that I had so much resentment built up. Like, why is my dad so abusive and verbally and physically and all that stuff, breaking glass bottles over my head, stuff like that? Why did I have to deal with more things than other people dealt with? And I was very angry for a large part of my life. And then I flipped that around. I just kind of had a moment where everything synced and it became crystal clear. And I realized, you know what? I can actually use these experiences to understand where other people come from on a deeper level than reading in a sociology textbook about different social mores people have and things like that. But actually knowing firsthand, you don't know what people are going through. I mean, going to high school, digging in dumpsters for food, I had to hear, my classmates sitting next to me talk about a scratch on their Beamer and how bad their life was. And I couldn't say anything because I'm like, they won't understand. I knew they wouldn't understand. So I had to be silent and keep my suffering to myself. But it also made me realize how many more people, much later, I was kind of had that realization, how many more people hide their pain. How many more people are suffering silently because they feel alone? They don't feel like they can truly connect with other people. That's at least as teen suicides and things like that, right? That feeling of being alone. And I felt that. I'll never forget being in that cardboard box in an alleyway behind Hole in the Wall on the Drag in Austin, Texas, as the rain beat down on the cardboard box and hearing those droplets. I'll never forget that, and feeling so alone, feeling like no one cared if I lived or died. That feeling never left me. But I processed through that. And now, while I do Facebook ad policy work, and while I am trying to start an e-commerce business on the side as well, and I'm writing a sci-fi novel, I'm doing a few things, and hip-hop albums that I'm coming out with and stuff. My goal, I haven't been able to do this yet because COVID hit right when I was about to try to launch. I want to be a speaker. I want to go to schools, because we think about the kids from Ethiopia that we send money to and get cards and stuff like that from these giant organizations. But like child hunger and starvation and poverty and homelessness is a real issue in America that's kind of not looked at because we want to think America's perfect or something. And I want to do outreach where I speak at schools and I reach those kids and I talk about the growth mindset from a practical lived experience, about self-efficacy and neural flexibility. And the thing is that like the journey I've been on is crazy, but no one really knows, right, what I've gone through. And I don't want to just talk about myself. I want to have learning outcomes. Like, what did I learn from this? I was hit by a truck when I was 15. I was in a wheelchair. They said I'd never walk again. I actually was in Brackenridge Hospital in North Austin, or downtown Austin. I mean, I had flown 20 feet when I was hit by the truck, according to witnesses at a gas station on the corner. And I was in a coma for a month. They told my parents they'd never wake up. They said, be prepared to pull the plug from life support. And then I woke up a month later immediately. And then I was in a wheelchair. They said I wouldn't walk again. And every day at that hospital, every night, because I was staying in intensive care, I would roll off my bed, fall on the floor, I'd hit the ground, and I would crawl across the floor 100 times to the door and back to my bed, as much as I could do while listening to Bach Classical Sonatas No. 9, I think. And I forced myself to walk again. There's no scientific explanation for that, except it must have been neuroflexibility. But I've been on this incredible journey, and now we're in 2020, and there's all kinds of curveballs this year, but I want to find a way, right, to give people hope, to realize the power of the human spirit and self-efficacy. And it's all about how we frame things in our perspectives. So I apologize for being long-winded, but you guys seem very heart-centered, and I love that. And it's all about, you know, integrity with my business and with my path. I'm not at the point yet where I can do what I want. I'm limited for my income. I'm doing the best I can with what I have, right? But that's my goal. That's my goal, is to help bring kind of like a real methodology to dealing with conflict and adversity and emotional scarring, and to become whole again for both the youth in schools as well as colleges, and figure out a way to do that.
Well, Trevor, you've come to the right place, brother. And with all that trauma, overcoming, passion, intensity, brilliance, accumulated wisdom, thank you. And how about a fun fact?
Oh, I thought I showed that. The fun fact is that I rap.
So can we hear a little? You want to share or no?
Let's see. I spit a flow that'll make a girl brawler. Xylophone notes on the world island hopping. Then I'm back home and enrolled in college. Old me impoverished. Knew me got an office. UT grad, diamond ring, no stopping. Real, recognize real. You see heads nodding. Listen, y'all. You wonder how I stay on my job. I'm the best motherfucker doing this since James Bond. Stand out, crash outs. I mean, I could do all this not to be unbalancing, talking to Sean Callagy, if I pronounce his name right, redefining our reality. That's what I got to find it. Now I'm trying to reveal life unblinded.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Awesome, brother. Rob Gill was formerly our #1 rapper in Unblinded, and it's not close.
Rob who?
Rob who? Dropping the mic. That is unbelievable, brother. You're in the right place. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I don't want to break protocol here. I don't know. I would love to make a comment to Trevor, either now or whatever you.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Trevor, I'm like amazingly impressed by your story and just touched by it so deeply. You're ready. So you're doing it. I mean, you're articulate. You don't need to take a class. I'm not, that's my opinion. I don't feel like you need to take a class. You need to knock on some doors and make some phone calls, because you are ready to share this story. You're like right there. You are there. There's nothing more that you need to do. You are ready to speak and share this story and impact tons. That just, you know, children, young boys, just, you know what I'm saying? My question for you would be, what is making, what is you use the word limit? I mean, you have the sky is the limit. There are no limits. That's just a belief or perception, but there are no limits. I mean, you're ready to do this. So I just wanted to share that.
I appreciate that. The limit that I have, so I quit my day job at Facebook last year. I quit it with $2,000 in savings based on hope on a lottery ticket. I just said, you know what? I can work 40 hours a week making Mark Zuckerberg's dream come true, or 40 hours a week working to make my dream come true. I chose the latter, but it's been difficult. It was hard because I had to sub niche. I knew a lot about Facebook, but what do people need? And then about 7 months into it, I finally figured, oh, policy, I can help them with that. And so I've been doing that successfully, but like, I don't have like a very good client acquisition thing. It's just business references. I can't exactly run ads on Facebook saying, hey, I worked at Facebook. I'll show you the secret to Facebook. not too kosher. So I'm kind of like, well,
It's just
I
practical
mean,
ideas, really.
Hey,
I
Trevor,
just-
what we're
Trevor,
doing
may
here,
I add, besides Dawn? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
give me one sec, Joe, and then we'll roll, because I know we're getting time
Yeah.
wide. There are 7 levers of marketing and sales process mastery, right? So we built this company into what it is in 7 months or 9 months during a pandemic. I built a 125 person law firm, took it from 0 to 100 people in 2 years. I built a 40 person law firm 2 years out of law school on my credit card, $100,000 in debt. The 7 levers that we talk about here, not in the real world typically, but in the other stuff we do a daily huddle. 7 levers of marketing sales process. 1, ecosystem merging. 2, speaking engagements. 3, sales meetings. 4, sales. Ecosystem mergers lead to speaking engagements, lead to sales meetings, the right call to action, the right ecosystem avatars lead to sales, lead to disposable income, lead to contribution revenue, lead to fun and magic. Those 7 lever sequencing, what you need to be doing, and Dawn, I completely agree, is you need to be merging ecosystems, getting in front of a group. What I'm hearing probably is a scalability dynamic around your genius and begin to scale. And your brother, you know this, you can sell. You are one of the most articulate, persuasive humans I've seen at 1,500 people come through this thing. And I'm already thinking, okay, Adam, we got to get Trevor on the Real Raw, because this is the open. And then we have like a once a day Real Raw that's sort of like TED and TEDx, right? I'm like, this dude's unbelievable. So like, and I hear people every day talk about marketing, selling, coaching, lawyering, accounting, but like all day, every day. This is the space. Dawn is right. Now it's just a matter of you stepping into and leaning into, okay, what is it that you're selling? I know you have that, and how can that scale? And what's the value you're adding, the value you're receiving? Because I'm sure right in that space, value adding, value receiving, there's a ton to unpack, and it's right there, brother. So that's my 2 cents. You're awesome.
I appreciate that. My mother is getting old, or is old, damn time, and it's continued march forward. And she's a retired school teacher, and they don't make that much money. So I've just gotten into e-commerce recently because I realized I can scale that. I can't scale my experiential based knowledge of working at Facebook. I can get more clients and get more money to invest that capital into e-commerce. I can scale e-commerce so I can help my mother out. That's my plan, but I just need that investment capital. So that's why I'm trying to drum up business.
Trevor, can I just drop in and say one thing?
Self-identifying, last thing, Joe, then I'll go. Self-identifying as somebody who needs investment capital is a story that's not true. So you may need it, you may be able to raise it. I'm sorry, Joe, you got it. You take it.
No, that was exactly what I was going to say twice, that I was just being a good student in your lessons, and as much as whatever he's talking about, what we're here for, if you have any stickiness and really appreciate any fun and learning that you do, the formula that you learn, all of the things that you just mentioned, will help him scale to exactly where he wants to be. And he doesn't need investment capital. He just needs to understand the formula and have the desire to do that. So, and I would recommend strongly that you follow up with Double TP after the call, or whenever you guys are both available, to talk and lean into that formula, and how exactly that's helped her, and how it can help you. But let's get to the judges real quick. Teresa, you want to introduce our fellow elite, Karen?
Absolutely. The lovely Colorado Karen Dreyer, who is a rock star businesswoman. She owns a car wash and a cleaning company, and now she is in financial services.
Karen, what's up? How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you guys doing? It's great to hear from all of you today. Yes, so I'm fairly new to the financial industry. I'm also here to learn from Joe as well, because he's a heart-centered financial person. And so I'm excited for that. And just trying to increase financial literacy for middle-class Americans so they can achieve their dreams too. So we all have the same intention here.
And a fun fact.
Fun fact, until last week, I had never been to New York City, and TP made sure that didn't happen, or made sure that changed, and took me in there to see the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was fun, even though it wasn't the regular, or the normal New York City, but I got to experience a little bit of it.
That's awesome, Karen.
And our other George is Sean Grossi, who is an accomplished in the field of sales in his own right, and is in the elite program, and is in fact part of the Unblinded movement, and a big reason why I joined. So Sean, fun fact? and a little bit about
Yeah,
yourself.
Joe, Teresa, thanks for having me here. Real quick, been in sales for most of my life, and Matt, same industry as you, energy sales. For 15 years, I've been building sales teams in the energy industry up in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I know of Constellation. They're not up here though, but I've been building sales teams selling for Just Energy, Direct Energy, other big companies like that in the residential side. Done some in the commercial side as well. Sales teams that have generated over 300 million in revenue over the years. Fun fact, very first time I got into an airplane, I jumped out of that airplane. So got in there to skydive and got in there to see what it was like to fly.
That is
here is a little tip. When you jump out of an airplane, especially if you're doing it by yourself, don't look down. Your body does not go the way it's supposed to. You're supposed to look up and watch the plane as you leave. I learned a good lesson from that. So
yes, it did not go well for we also call Sean the Terminator. So Terminator's here, the illustrious Joe Hagan, TTP. Karen, we have to have a cool nickname. We need a
Colorado Karen.
There you go. What's up, Colorado Karen? All right. Let's roll. This has been, we've had beautiful shares. Thank you to everybody. We've gotten a little bit, out of time integrity, but it's been worth it to hear the incredible story of Trevor and all of your stories. But Joe and TTP, let's rock.
All right. So the idea, Teresa, is to go from hello to yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that yes could be just another business meeting. Matt, for example, if you want to, introduce somebody and get somebody to sit down, a yes, it doesn't have to be a total sale agreement. You're just trying to get to your yes, whoever that avatar is in your world. In your case, I would imagine it's someone in the world of real estate who, owns multiple units and has a lot of energy, right? Where you can save them a lot of money. All right. Teresa, do you want to be the judge on this one? And we could start with Matt. And basically
we have Sean and Karen. So we can let them go first.
Sean and Karen are the judges.
Correct.
You're going to be the role player, TTP?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Who's going first?
So Matt, you ready to go first?
Yeah, sure. Who am I?
Matt, who do you want to do this with? You want to do it with Joe as the person you're going from hello to yes with, or TTP?
I'll do Joe.
All right. And who would you like Joe to be? And remember, it's not a sale. It's not like Boiler Room meets Wolf of Wall Street. It's just, it could be getting to a longer meeting. The process is unlocking deep, heart center, authentic connection, conveying who you are, getting to that yes, which could be, hey, we could sit down for 15 or 30 minutes or an hour, or it could be the actual sale. It could be whatever you want, any situation. Sound good, Matt?
Sounds good.
Okay. So who would you like Joe to be?
Yeah, Joe could be a business owner, pick a business, a restaurant, if you own real estate.
But this Joe owns the chicken or the egg, the Chegg in Long Beach Island, New Jersey. Sound
I know
good?
that one. Okay.
Let's rock and roll, Matt.
Okay. I guess we're doing this over the phone, Joe.
It's a 3-minute call.
Okay. Yeah, is Joe Hagan available?
Speaking.
Hey, Joe, this is Matt with Constellation Energy. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Who are you with?
Constellation Energy. We are the largest in the country. We power 95% of the country. And I know you're at the chicken and the egg down in LBI. I've spent many weekends at the fishery, if you know where that is, in Ship Bottom. So been to your place many times. Good food. Reason for the call is I know you're dealing with, I'm gonna have to jump in here. I would have already known your utility, so I'm gonna guess. I think LBI is PSE&G, so I'll just go with that, whether I'm right or wrong. Reason for the call today, Joe, is I know you're dealing with PSE&G, and we're with Constellation Energy. We are the leading provider. We're owned by Exelon, which is a $40 billion company, and you're right now getting your power through PSE&G, and it's at a variable level. And I'd like to talk to you about low fixed rates. A utility by law cannot give you a fixed rate. So that's the reason for the call. Do you have a bill handy?
A bill handy? No. My hands are full of chicken, and I don't want to touch anything
All right. Well, understood. Yeah, I guess my fault. I called at 2 o'clock, so you're probably still wrapping up with your lunch. What would be a better time for us to speak? Can I give you a call back, say 3 o'clock today or tomorrow morning before the lunch crowd?
Anytime in between 6 or 7, I'll do it, early before breakfast.
Okay, sounds good. Would you be able to have a bill handy? That makes it a lot easier and won't have to take up much of your time. All the information is off that, and I'll be able to show you the type of protection plan we could provide for your location, help you manage your bills, manage your budget. So if you'd be able to have a bill handy when I give you a call at that time?
Can you save me money?
Most likely, but I will say this right off the bat. I don't know what you're at, but it is variable. Do you rent or own that space?
No, we've owned it for years.
Okay. Do you have a mortgage on it?
No, it's been owned by the family for years. Very low mortgage.
Okay. Well, I guess what I was trying to get at, when you did have a mortgage or your house, do you have a variable or fixed rate? Almost everybody says, yeah, I would never go with a variable rate mortgage. Well, right now you've got a variable rate with your utility. I can go through on the call tomorrow where we're at very low rates because of COVID. Commodities have come off, and show you where Goldman Sachs is looking for rates to go over the next year. So without seeing your bill, I might not be able to save you money today, but giving you a low fixed rate over time, I'll be able to show you how I will be able to save you money and manage that monthly budget, because unless your usage goes up or down, the amount's going to be about the same every month. So I'll give you a call at that time, have your bill ready, and I look forward to it, Joe.
Give me a call. I hope you can do something for me.
You got
it. You're killing me. I'll talk to you then.
Okay.
Excellent job. Here's the key question, Matt. Would you chug ludicrous hot sauce to get this meeting with the Chegg?
Would I chug ludicrous? Well, I will say my beginning part, I was kind of fumbling here. I'm not used to pitching when you can see the guy right there. So
ludicrous hot sauce is 3 million Scovilles, which is like 6 times hotter.
I don't think they're big enough for me to chug that.
I'll tease it. I'm kidding.
I know where the chicken and egg is, and it is a good place, but it's probably a small usage. But
but what if that owner owns a big commercial plaza?
Well, when I meet with you and you say, "Oh, of course," I always get into, "Do you have other locations?" And get into that. Then I might end up chugging it, depending on what else you own.
Awesome. All right, so let's drop in Colorado Karen. What 30 seconds of feedback do you have for Matt?
Okay, real quick. You acknowledged Joe's business, so that was awesome, and your knowledge of his situation. But you probably could have accessed more if you would ask more questions about him, rather than doing all the speaking up front. That way you could know what opportunity that you'd need to hear for what he needs. You did mention the mortgage, and as far as scarcity goes, as that being like a variable thing, and that's what he's dealing with his electricity. But asking more questions, mainly just to like getting to get to the emotional side of him.
I agree. Am I allowed to rebuttal or wait?
Yeah, and just one quick sentence, only for time integrity.
Okay, very quickly. Why I did that is because I deal with, the card rules. You don't call restaurants 11 to 2 because of lunch. And so I know he didn't know that, but playing the role, when he says I'm busy, I'm this and that, I don't want to annoy him by, well, let me ask you a few questions. Let me just get the yes, and I can do those questions tomorrow. But yes, Karen, I agree. Sales is asking questions and listening.
Yeah, awesome. Great job, Matt. Score, Karen.
A 7.
All right. Terminator, what's up?
Hey, Matt, brought back memories here. I've made lots of these phone calls, and the exact same phone calls as you make. So good on, real quick rapport. I know what it's like on these calls to have to do that quick rapport. I would like to have seen a bit more pain, pain scarcity in order to really get more interest. I'm sure that you're probably used to doing that anyway. Good on the HUI, like building up Constellation, 95% of the energy supply. 7.5 is the score.
Nice job. Hey, Matt, great job. I really enjoyed the variable component. We'll talk more. I'll do a little dip in after like 3 or 4 fine folks go, but let's keep rocking. Great job, Matt, TTP, and Joe. Who's next?
Teresa?
Let's roll next with Greg Eisenhart.
All right, Greg, who would you like either Teresa or Joe to be?
Teresa and I are in the same industry, so I'd probably go with Teresa. So she probably, she has a little bit more familiarity.
Awesome.
I don't really do a ton of cold calling, but I do meet people off the street for like at an open house. So maybe you could be an open house attendee, Teresa.
Yeah. And so, and Greg, real quick, this is definitely not just about cold calling. So this could be, you could set up the scenario. This is your third meeting. There's major objections about, listing with you, and you can lean into it. So whatever is an important yes to you in the world. So I don't want you to perceive that this is like stranger, cold call, whatever scenario will be effective for you to work on something. Going from hello to yes, that's your scenario.
Okay. Yeah, let's roll with that, Teresa.
Yep.
You're gonna give me a hardball one. Here we go.
Yeah. So Teresa, this is like back and forth on doing a listing. This is like final conversation. It's like, I don't know, should I? Sound good to TTP?
Yeah, totally.
All right, Greg, drop in.
So we're clear. We're at a listing presentation, or this is an open house attendee, Teresa?
Your preference, Greg.
Whatever's more awkward for you.
Whatever's more awkward.
Whatever, Greg, whatever would add more value to your world, sharpening on, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, let's do the listing presentation, because usually you get buyers off your listing. So you can give me some objections on that.
Awesome.
All right. So Teresa, we pretty much have gone through the presentation here. What are the questions you have for me?
I think you've pretty much covered it, Greg. I mean, I like what you have to say. You do only have 3 years experience. So I'm not saying, no, I'm not going to list with you. I just really need to make sure that I interview with at least 2 other companies before I make a final decision.
I appreciate you being honest with me. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. No, so I always want to be honest. Any client I have, I always want to be open and honest with them. And here's what I know. I know that in 3 years, I'm the number 18 agent in our office, in our county, and I'm one of the top 5 agents in our office, which is the number 1 office in the entire county. So from a experience level, it may not have the leverage of duration. However, I do have the experience in terms of volume. The other thing, if you remember, I did leave in our packet here what you can expect by working with me, just some reviews and some things from past clients that I have. I'd be happy to give you their phone number, their email address, any kind of contact info you could have in terms of getting in contact with them. But putting that all aside, here's what I really want to know. Are you definitely looking to sell your house?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And does the bottom line work for you? Like in terms of what we talked about, we were going to list it at, $500,000, and that was going to net you about a total of $420 after, fees and mortgages and all that kind of stuff. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you confident that I can get it done based off of what I told you in terms of the marketplace and what we're seeing in the market, my experience being, born and raised here, having the network that I have to get that done?
Greg, here's what I want to know. Are you going to advertise this in the Wall Street Journal? Because, buyers are coming out of New York City every day, and that's where we need to advertise this to get the rate of return we're looking for.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up, actually. I think that you're really spot on in terms there are a lot of buyers coming out from the further east market because of COVID, because of a lack of needing to go into the office on a daily basis. I will also tell you that in my experience, we probably don't get the best bang for our buck. You had said about return on value. We don't get the best bang for our buck in newspapers anymore, but we are going to do things like AdWorks or Facebook targeted marketing, things like that, where we would make sure that we put your property prominently in front of the most buyers possible.
I don't know. I don't know how, the online ads works. I just know that, New York City buyers are going to be looking in the Wall Street Journal on Sunday.
Sorry, you're breaking me here. So look, at the bottom line is, I think that we could run an ad on the Wall Street Journal if it was really important to you. I want to make sure that we're in communication in terms of we're spending good money, right? We're using our advertising budget effectively. So if we were to run an advertisement, what would that look like in terms of duration? When would we know if it was effective or not?
I would assume we would know it's effective because we have people who are making appointments that week to see the home. after the
Okay. And when they make the appointment, we could probably ask them, hey, where did you hear about us? And does it seem fair to say if they heard about us from either their broker or online or those type of things, that it may not be getting the most targeted audience in front of the Wall Street Journal?
Yes.
Okay, so let's run it. Let's run a test ad and we'll see where the buyers come from. And after about 2 weeks, we'll sit back down and we'll see where we look. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. Greg, nice
Perfect.
job, sir. Excellent work. How'd that feel for you, Greg?
It was good. It made me laugh because the Wall Street Journal thing is, like nobody wants it in newspaper. So it's not one I've actually ever come across, but I can count on Teresa. They always keep me on my toes.
Awesome job. All right. We're going to get to Teresa and Joe on their thoughts in a moment after our next fine guest. But let's drop right in with the Terminator. What 30 seconds of feedback do you have for Greg?
Yeah. Hey, Greg. You did a great build up of your heroic unique identity, talking about yourself and everything. That was fantastic. Lots of questions. I like that. From the questions and energy coming from Teresa, there was no trust built. And so when you asked her, is it important to sell your house? And she said yes. Even that hesitation there showed the lack of trust. And I felt like you could have easily diverted into using that to build more emotional rapport. Saying, well, let me ask you, why is it important for you to sell your house, or go somewhere deeper there to really help build that rapport and trust level. Other than that, overall, fantastic job. I'll give you an 8.
Nice. Excellent job. And Colorado, Karen, what do you have for Greg?
I will second what Sean said about the HUI, because you were certain about your success, even though you haven't been in the business for that long. And you validated her concerns about where to advertise. So the validation was great. I know that you were trying to speak fast for time's sake, and maybe some more of your energy transference in responding to her, because she was hesitant, and maybe matching her a little bit would have brought some more congruence to that. And maybe she would have had a little more, been quicker to want to agree with you. So I will give you an 8.
Nice. All right, Greg, excellent job. Joe, TTP, who's next?
So let's go with the semi-illustrious Joe Fury.
All right.
You're just like giving him such a hard time.
Joe.
Sean, I don't know if you were on when I introduced Joe earlier, were you?
I think I caught the very end. Yes.
So he's a Don Bosco prep kid, and he played center. I played middle linebacker. And I had to headbutt him about 40 times a day in practice every day, and I still get headaches just looking at his name.
Joe, if it would be too crazy for me to ask, what era were you at Bosco?
I graduated in 1986.
Oh wow!
So we won it. Yeah.
Did you play with Paul Criscuolo when he was at Bosco? Do you remember him or no?
Oh yeah. He's I think a couple years younger than me.
Yeah, he would have been 88. So
yeah, he played with my brother. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. Well, welcome, Joe. It's a pleasure. And just a quick footnote: I played college baseball with Doug Murphy, Joe Azzolino. They would have been sophomore. College baseball with Doug at Columbia. Joe Azzolino, I went to different tryout camps with. They would have been sophomores when you were a senior.
Oh yeah, Joe played football too.
Oh, he did.
I'm pretty sure he did all 4 years. Yeah.
They do. All right. Well, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah. And who would you like TTP or Joe to be?
Joe.
Thanks for having me.
So I need Joe. You're a banker. I need to convince to loan me money for my strategy.
All right, let's go.
So, Joe, how you doing? Do you have a couple minutes for me to share a little bit about who I am, who we are, and what our strategy is?
Yeah. Who are you again? And how'd you get my name?
Yeah, we just met at this event. You're a banker, right? We're just drinking a couple beers at the bar. All right. No, my name's Joe Fury, and I'm president of Michael Graves Architecture and Design. And I'm not sure if you've heard of our firm, have you?
I have. I know the name. Yes.
You know the name. Okay. So, as you know, we're a boutique architectural firm with a global brand, and Michael was one of the most famous architects. I was his CFO, and I had the opportunity to buy a significant portion of the company. And my strategy is to leverage this brand and maximize the brand. And the way to do that is to scale the company through a series of acquisitions over the next 5 to 7 years. And that would round out our service offerings in the various verticals that we work in, which are, among others, hospitality, workplace, government work, education, residential, etc. And the first acquisition, I have a potential target, and I'd like to debt finance it rather than give up equity. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the strategy and the ask, if you got a couple minutes.
Yeah, I do. What's the timing on this?
The timing is the next probably 2 to 3 months to get the deal closed.
And have you tried before?
Nope. I've just bought the company and had to do some turnaround efforts and are positioned now for the next move. Heard a lot about you and your bank, and you're actually my first phone call.
Okay. And, what dollar amount are we talking about?
So the deal is $8 million in total, 5 up front, $1 million a year for 3 years, in years 2, 3, and 4, termed out over 10.
Okay. When do you want to meet?
I'd like to meet at your convenience, whatever works for you. I'm available. You tell me when and where.
Yeah. Is there anything you can send me ahead of time before the meeting, just so I can indoctrinate myself a little bit with it? And then this way we can have a more intelligent conversation.
Sure. I have several documents I could send you that should be self-explanatory, but by all means, feel free to reach out live for any questions, or just save your questions and I'll walk you through it. But most of the stuff I'll send you should be pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, great. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Look forward to meeting with you, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Excellent job, Joe. Excellent. Banging heads at Don Bosco. But Joe Hagan, where did you played where in high school?
Mount St. Michael Academy. I played with my boy John Spring.
That's right. Okay, awesome. So Joe, excellent job. And before we get to the judges, illustrious Joe Hagan, you are, to me, one of the most effective folks that going from hello to yes, train people. Like, you train trainers. You're unbelievable. So far today, what's your feedback overall on our first 3 participants? What, like, trends, patterns? What do you think, head versus heart? What's present for you, the illustrious Joe Hagan?
So I'm not a banker. I might have had some more resistance with Joe, but me being a role player as a banker, he pretty much was straight to the point, wanted a meeting. And if I'm a banker looking to loan money and I have an established brand, I mean, that was straight to the point. He did a great job. I couldn't think of anything else that I could add as far as influence. I guess Greg went before that. And I always taught everybody, and Matt, and Neftali, and anybody else been with me on Wall Street, I hate using the word honest, because that means you're lying all the rest of the time. And Greg used honest like 3 times, 4 times. To be honest, if Teresa brings up the Wall Street Journal, why didn't you say to her what you told everybody after the call when Sean asked? Well, if you really insist on the Wall Street Journal, we'll do it. But what I'd like to explain to you is there are all these other alternatives in the year 2020 that we don't think the Wall Street Journal is that effective. If you'd like to, we'll do a test, and I'm happy to do it. But I'd like to show you these ways that work, instead of, laughing off and everything else was great with that call. That was the only part of that one that I would have liked just stay in the role of integrity and honesty. And before that, we had Matt, and Matt definitely summed up where he had issues between 11 and 2, because the guy literally, I would say, well, why are you calling the guy at that time when he's busy between 11 and 2? So that's why he really couldn't build reports. So he definitely covered from that. But there's definitely more opportunity to build a rapport, and like Sean talked about, leaning into the pain. Let me ask you a question. Would you leave your air conditioner on and the doors open while you're cooking? No, why not? Because you're losing money. If I could show you a way to do, to stop that pain as far as losing money in your electricity bills, I'm sure you'd kind of want to learn how, right? Makes sense. So what I'd like to do at your convenience is to sit down, just be a little more affirmative in getting that meeting and building a little more rapport. But again, he was calling them during lunch hours, and you know how crazy the chicken and the egg is. They're pissing the pig around and things are going crazy.
Excellent. TTP, you want to give some feedback after the next person goes? So we'll pick up with you and your amazingness next round. Sound good?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. So with that, Colorado Karen, what do you have for Joe?
Yeah, so I liked that you were certain, you were upfront when asking for what you wanted. So you displayed your identity right there. You were congruent with matching his energy, and maybe building more rapport to create more confidence in Joe for you. So as far as for what your business would be, but I'll give you an 8.
Nice job. And Terminator, Sean Grossi.
Yeah, I as well. I thought your certainty was very high. Just the way that you spoke and knew exactly what you wanted, and what you talked about, building scarcity in there as well. Same as Karen, I thought, especially if you're meeting at an event, it'd be much easier to have a casual conversation that you could emotionally rapport build in, and then do that. Going straight for what you did over the phone, when you don't have much time, perfect. Casual event or an event where you have that time. I think the rapport building would have really helped.
Awesome.
7.5, I'd give you.
Nice. Great job, Joe. TTP, who's up?
Hey, Dawn Shale.
Dawn is in the house. Love Dawn. Traveling the world, living life intentionally, dispensing wisdom. Dawn, who would you like, either Joe or Teresa to be?
You're on mute. You're muted.
Can't hear you, Dawn.
Dawn, you're muted.
This could be a new.
I've got it.
There we go. All right, so Dawn.
So I was muted, and we have to unmute ourselves. Is that how this goes?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a democracy.
Yeah.
Wow. So don't get me started on that. I'm not in sales. I mean, we all sell. I mean, I sell myself. So I'm not sure how I would go about this. This is my first time doing this. I get the gist by watching what you've all done. I do consultations, and it's usually word of mouth or some, through website.
Dawn, could I help? So this is definitely not sales. It's
right.
Right. So do you ever get booked on stage to speak anywhere?
I haven't done that I haven't done that in a while. I do a lot of my own live videos. So I do a lot of that.
Do you have guests that come on?
But I do consultations with every potential client. I do consultations first.
Yeah, and then so you have a complimentary consultation that moves into a coaching relationship.
Yes, and then we both decide if we're a match for each other. Right.
Okay. You want to go through a process like that, or maybe talking to a potential guest to come on your live, either one or anything you want.
Okay, I think a consultation would probably. I wouldn't know who to pick though. Who should I pick?
Who do you want to pick in your heart? What's the energy tell you, Joe or Teresa?
I
think Joe needs more help. I'm teasing. So who do you want to pick?
How about Trevor? Trevor?
Sure. Not normally how we would do it.
It's more like somebody has to tell me what they want, what they're looking for.
Yeah. So Trevor, we started.
It kind of starts with them first, like what they're looking for, what they're wanting to resolve, what they need help with.
Dawn, we're in flow, so it's all good. Trevor, are you up for doing a 3-minute role play with Dawn?
To quote a popular 90s song, "Liva la vida loca." I'm okay.
All right. So Dawn, this is let's say post today, and Trevor's like, yeah. Or how about this? You had a session. Where would you like to pick up? Quick scenarios at the end of the session and the final 3 minutes, or you want to start a quick phone call to set a session? What would you like to do?
And you know what? Because I am very pressed for time. Can I do this another, like the next one you do? Can I do this another time? Because I actually have to get going.
Yeah, of course.
So, and this has been amazing and awesome, and I will definitely participate in this the next time. Can I do that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So let's roll with Neftali Mercedes. Neff.
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Real quick.
All right, so I don't remember if you guys got the chance to see me from the first call, but I'm in financial services, alternative lending. I am the CEO of Cause of Capital. as well as consult for other small business loans companies. So I'm talking. I want to do a cold call because I got the itch just from listening to you guys, and that's my favorite thing to do on earth. So I'm a loan broker, right? I'm the guy that gets you the capital, alternative financing. So I'm already supposing you have your banking relationships done, but you need something like accounts receivables financing for an additional opportunity. You are a person who has received a brochure of ours because you're on our list, so I'm sure of that at least. Whether you read it or not, that's no one ever does. But now I'm calling to follow up with you to see if you're ready for some money. And I would love to speak with the lady who is a small business owner.
Karen.
I forgot her name. Karen. Yes. Colorado. Can I pick the person? Oh, I would love to pitch her. She's my target person.
Great. Karen.
Unless she's a judge and she cannot do it.
She could do it. We're in flow.
She can do it. I could judge. What the heck?
We'll roll.
Karen, you ready?
I'm ready.
Take us in.
Karen.
F.
Good afternoon. It's Karen there.
This is she.
Karen, this is Mercedes from New York with Cause of Capital. How are you?
Oh, hi. I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope I didn't catch you in the middle of a wildfire storm. The reason I'm on the phone with you is because in and around March, you received a brochure from us regarding some information you have requested about obtaining capital for your small business. We are Cause of Capital in New York City. If you recall, we specialize in the chicken business or chicken restaurant business. I didn't get just as an aside, what business are you in? I'm sorry, Karen.
I have a car wash and a house cleaning business.
Okay, fantastic. If you recall, we specialize in the environmental services industry, which your small cleaning business is a part of. It's one of the most dynamic businesses, and obviously with this COVID situation, the amount of capital requirements for everything additional that you guys are doing has been great. So the reason for my call today is there an opportunity that requires outside capital at the moment that we may be able to help you with?
Possibly. Actually, I'm glad you called because I'm looking to expand.
I'm not surprised to hear that. And obviously it's music to my ears that a woman-owned business in your industry is having success when, as you know, so many others are having a little bit of a tough time. My first question to you would be, are you looking to expand locally, or do you have an opportunity in front of you to expand across state lines?
I've thought about moving out of state as well. Right now, I'd probably begin locally though first.
Of course, yes. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on now? What is your strongest sector within the cleaning business that you're experiencing? Obviously, offices have had a little bit of a lull, but obviously many other things like retail shops and anything that is still gathering people and businesses that are looking to open, like gyms, for example, have been absolutely on fire. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Very good. Now, this expansion opportunity, is it going to be like a merger? Have you been speaking with people who you look at a partnership with, or is it straight out cash buyout or equity buyout?
I'm open to hearing about all of it.
Very good. And I'm very happy you asked that because I don't know if you recall from our information, but we're a group of, private equity financiers, which is just basically a fancy way of saying people that know how to take businesses from a napkin at a diner into a full-blown, full-fledged corporation. That's our specialty. That was my passion in 1997 when I first entered Wall Street with Mr. Joe Hagan, who's the owner of our firm. We were pretty much versed in every single aspect of financing, any aspect of your business, but obviously we'll come with a lot more questions to specifically nail down how we could best serve you. We have over 100 years experience. We operate across all 48 mainland states, and we specialize in your industry. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be a key partner for you in having the access to capital to put your plans into success. I will need initially, if we're going to talk meat and potatoes. I'm going to need some financial statements
5
and a
seconds.
basic overall. Pardon?
Last 5
And a
seconds.
basic overall. I'm sorry, and some information that'll help me narrow down my conversation. As you can tell, I'm very excited, and I can talk about this topic for 4 weeks. But if we can, when would be the next time that you can sit with either your CFO or email me some financial statements so that we can begin the conversation more specific to your case?
So would you help me with my business plan and expansion as far as, ideas?
100%, absolutely. I mean, we have, from specializing in your industry, we do have the expertise of expansion and growth in this industry for the last 8 years.
Oh,
We've helped
I'm sorry.
a dozen companies grow.
Yeah.
All
Awesome
right.
job, Neff. Great job, Karen. Excellent work. Neff, how'd that feel for you?
I'm just excited. Any opportunity. This is an exciting opportunity. I liked her energy. It's my pleasure to serve small businesses and especially women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, and I'm just excited to go forward. I don't think she needed money, but if she did, this would be a great 20-minute conversation.
And that's why the Real Raw is a beautiful format to meet incredible people like yourself. Awesome.
Yes.
TTP.
All right.
What's your
Awesome.
overview just generally from the first?
Generally, I thought so I gave him an 8.5. And the reason is I like that he acknowledged that she's a women-owned business, although I thought he could spend way more time there with her and less time on what he actually does. I don't think he needed to sell himself. It was obvious he knew what he was talking about. I like that he asked her for an agreement, like, can I tell you this? He asked for agreement formation. And I think that he probably could have closed her a lot faster, like not closed her, but I think that
He could have what?
connected, not closed her. He could have connected with her by leaning in to the woman-owned business portion and saving all the information about you, like, speaks for itself. And I think that the time and energy could have changed the dynamic of the conversation if you spent it there.
Awesome. That's come from TTP, who you have between 150 and 180 agents. Is that right?
Yes.
And crushing it and rocking and rolling it as a leader in all sorts of crazy ways. And just like a head banging rock star, just like that's what's up too. So awesome job, TTP. Iron Man, what'd you have? I'm sorry, Terminator. Terminator. Iron Man. What do you have, Terminator? We have an Iron Man. We have a Terminator. 25 seconds.
Great energy. Loved your energy. And acknowledgement. Tons of questions you're asking. It was fantastic. Really good. I can't say enough about your energy and excitement. It showed through. I agree with Teresa on digging more on the questions, and I think pain, if you accessed more pain, because at the end you said, well, I don't think she needed the money. Maybe if you accessed more pain, you might have found out really that there could have been a need for it. Overall, though, I think you did fantastic, and I give you a 9.
Nice job. Neff.
Whoa.
Boom.
Honors to Joe Hagan.
Boom. Excellent job, sir. Joe, who we have next, sir?
Teresa, I believe we have Trevor.
All right. Trevor, who would you like TTP or Joe Hagan to be, sir?
So two things. One, anyone who's had Facebook ads run and disapproved would really be like the best target audience, because my target audience would be agencies or business owners. So yes. I don't know if either one of you has experience in that area or.
Yeah. Would it be an interesting moment, Trevor, to share with you that there's an ironic twist to this conversation? Is that my firm, on behalf of Jason Fick, we've been on national television about it. We're suing Facebook for $1 billion, and we're on appeal right now to the United States Supreme Court, waiting for them to take our case. So it's an interesting moment to be having Trevor here having this conversation. So we should have my client Jason Fick on. That would be an interesting moment, but he's not here today. So why don't we? I don't know, TTP. You ever run Facebook ads?
I have run Facebook ads.
All right, Trevor, sound good?
Sure. And second of all, as a caveat, I am actually not a salesperson. I don't, you mentioned that I sounded like I was really good at sales. I'm not. I don't really like sales. My whole business
Can I support
proposition.
you? Can I support you? I use interchangeably the word
Yeah.
sales, educating,
Okay.
sharing. The
See,
concept
that's,
of
yeah.
unblinded, and people use different words, brother, right? So I get it, and I get how words vibrate, and you certainly, as the rapper you are, the person of influence you are, understand that every word vibrates differently. The challenge is everybody has a unique language. So what sales means to Joe Hagan is different from what it means to Teresa, to you, to educate the trade. So if we said, hey, we're unblinding, people are like, what does that mean? So what we say by unblinded is we're supporting people in seeing the truth, seeing what they don't see, which is what the process of influencing is all about, with integrity, heart-centeredness. So this entire process of Real Raw is how we go from hello to yes with human beings, about taking our ideas and concepts, taking them from us, imparting it to somebody else who hears it, receives it, and acts upon it. So that's what we mean when we say the word selling, right? But I can get it that for others, that selling would be a pejorative word that would mean taking, manipulating, all those things that I thought when I first stepped into the space of selling, thought it was the most disgusting, horrible, awful thing imaginable, right? But I use the words train, influence, sell interchangeably because I understand that they mean different things to different people. So I honor your perspective, brother.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so TTP is a marketing agency that runs Facebook ads, either for their own business or for their clients.
Awesome. Let's take this in, Trevor.
Hey, TTP, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Trevor. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. It was great meeting you at the marketing conference. So where are you based out of again?
I'm in the tri-state area.
In the tri-state area. Now, remind me again where that might be exactly.
New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
Okay.
It's really kind of four, but.
And how's the tri-state area doing right now? I know that it's been pretty crazy with kind of the lockdown situations, and retail's had to adapt and pivot. And I know you're not in retail, but I know that the whole business across the board has just been really different these days. How have you guys been coping with that?
It's 2020. So for some businesses it's been great, and other businesses it's been a challenge.
That makes sense. And so from what I understand from our conversation, you've been having some issues with Facebook where they've been disapproving some ads you've been running, I think, in the real estate sector, and not actually giving you any explanation why. Is that correct?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about what you want accomplished with your ads.
Well, I mean, in an ideal situation, it's twofold, right? So sometimes we want to market a specific client properties to a certain area and financial demographic. And sometimes it's the general marketing of the firm and the agents within the firm to people who are thinking about selling their home or might be thinking about selling their home.
That makes sense. So it's important that your ads are approved. Tell me a little bit more about kind of what the end goal, the outcome that you're looking for when you have your Facebook ads approved.
Well, I mean, the end goal would be to have people picking up the phone and calling, right? Or sending a message to set an appointment to call.
And how do you feel, I guess, when you have a bunch of Facebook ads that are disapproved without any explanation?
It's very frustrating. I'm not going to lie, because you take the time to build the ad, you input the fields that they're asking for, and then to get a rejection and you're not really sure what's happening or why. It feels like a giant waste of time.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's definitely one of the flaws about Facebook, is that it's not very transparent. They don't provide a detailed explanation on why your ads are disapproved. A lot of the times what you'll get is kind of a standard answer. Your ad has been disapproved for violating Facebook policy, but not really an explanation of, well, which policy? Why? What do you want me to do instead? So if I could speak a little about my experience as a Facebook policy expert, working at Facebook for a few years allowed me to understand both the advertising section of that, as well as kind of a technical background for like how it works, how Facebook functions. So part of what I can help you achieve is to reveal the mystery, behind why your ads are disapproved, what specific ad copy got your ad disapproved, the philosophy behind what Facebook is trying to do with specific compliance flags, as well as a proof copy that Facebook actually wants you to have, but doesn't really communicate. Does that sound something that would be valuable for you and your ads team?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, the biggest win for me, I mean, I guess I have to also share a little bit about the fact is I have different businesses that I do. I also do.
Last 10 seconds, Trevor. 10 seconds.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, that's not.
You're all 30 seconds more. Good.
Okay. So the thing is that the reason why I do this is because I'm also an advertiser on Facebook. I do e-commerce and things like that. And I know what it feels like to be in your shoes. And I love connecting amazing companies to great experiences by getting their product and services on Facebook ads without issue. And so the tremendous win for me is just making a difference. And so I would love to help you do that. I'll stake my reputation on making sure that you have the exact right answers. Why don't we go ahead and have just a mini test of our relationship and just have a phone call maybe tomorrow around this time with the other decision makers as far as your company is concerned. And I'm extremely confident this is going to work for you. Does that sound